This is a plain geometry question, right? So it's all about finding the missing angle, or maybe in some cases that's the missing letter, or whichever the case may be. But the most important thing is to know how to solve it. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate that with what a pure exams question. So make sure that you stay to the end of the video. Now, simple analogy in the real life is that if you're hungry, right? So if you're hungry, what is maybe hunger, right? So maybe you are hungry, maybe some hunger in some cases. You need a food. Is that okay? So you need a food. So hunger goes with what? Food here. Is that okay? So if you're hungry, you need a food. This is very, very simple. So if I bring that to the mathematics, is this is the symbol. This is the question that we are having. We want to determine the values of the x here. And this is one of the notorious letter in mathematics. But the angle behind the s is what we are looking for. We are just naming this thing x. Of course, this thing can be any variable, right? So now, how do you do that? You need something. Just like in the case of when you're hungry, you need a food. Here, you need something. What do you need to solve the problem? That is the most important thing, right? So here, this symbol here tells me that, or maybe tells you that this line, these two lines here is a parallel. These two lines are parallel. What is the meaning of the parallel line? They will never meet. So if you are working on what on this route here, and then your friend also goes this way, there's no way two of you intersect. You will never meet unless someone what deviated, right? So if you deviate from your road, that's where you are going to. That's the definitions of the a parallel line. So these two lines will never meet based on these two symbols that we are having here. And here's another one. This one also tells me that this line and this line here are also a parallel. Is that okay? Now, why do you need the parallel line? If you have across any questions on the plane geometry that involve this parallel line, maybe sometimes you can have the symbols of the parallel line. So it can be like, let's say AB is parallel to this is another symbol, right? It's parallel to, let's say, CD. Okay, tells me that these two lines are parallel. So pay a close attention to those things. Once you come across those two, the thing that you need here, or the tools that you need to solve that problem is alternatives angles and the corresponding angle, right? And I'll explain this in just a few seconds. But these are just the name behind what we are looking for. So what are we looking for? They say alternatives angles are equal, right? So alternatives angles here are equal. So how do you determine the alternatives angle? How do you determine the corresponding angle? So this one relates to the idea of a parallel line. Once you have across something like a parallel, that is what your first step or something that should come to your mind is the alternatives and or corresponding angle. And then you can apply some of the other methods in solving. So let's see how to determine the alternatives angle and the corresponding angles under this conjugation. Now, before we get to the question, let's demonstrate the idea. Suppose these two lines are parallel, right? So you know the meaning of the parallel, they will never intersect. Is that okay? So this is the symbol that we use to determine that. Now, if these two lines are parallel, then let's say I have a line that crosses these two angles. Is that okay? So now we want to determine the alternatives and the corresponding angles. So for the alternative first is that the alternatives goes with, so this is the symbol that we use to know that it's this symbol, right? So let's say something like this. This is how you write this. Maybe way back in what in the beginning, right? So maybe grade one and something of that nature. So maybe a Z like this, or down the one goes like this, right? So here we are interested in what the two symbols of the Z, the letter Z here. Is that okay? So this letter Z here gives me what the alternative, right? So this one gives me the alternatives angle. So we know how angles are formed. This is one angle because these two lines are meeting at this point. So this is one angle here, and then this is also another angle, right? So the same applies to this letter here and then this one here. Is that okay? So we say that the alternatives angles are equal based on the condition. So this is the condition. The condition is that these two lines must be parallel. If you cannot see the parallel here, you can never apply the idea of the alternatives and the corresponding in solving that problem. Right? So that is for the alternative. So in this symbol, you can see that from here to here to this portion like this is going to be what the Z shape. Can you see from here to this point and then comes down and then goes like this? So this one alternates to this angle here, right? So if here is 50 degrees, here is going to be a 50 degrees. Is that okay? Based on that condition, they are parallel. So there are two things. One, if this one is a parallel line, and then these two people are what alternate, because I can see the Z shape out of this one. So the upside Z here is what something that goes like this from here right? Like this, and then goes on this way. Is that okay? So here and this one also what alternate, right? Okay, so what about the F shape? So the F shape here, I've already said also F shape gives me what the corresponding angles. Is that okay? So this is what I'm calling the F. Don't like the normal F that we know. This looks like a F, right? So this is the symbol of the F. This one goes up a little bit just for a demonstrator or how to picture that. So the corresponding angles or gives me the F shape. So meaning that the angle at the down here and then the ones down here are corresponding. So if they are corresponding, they are the same. Right, so the same also applies to the one on top. So if you have another one, so the one on top here also will correspond to the one at the top here. Is that okay? So this one happens if these two lines here are what are parallel, right? So if the two lines are parallel, that is where we can apply the corresponding, the alternate. Of course, here you can see clearly that the angle at the top at the top here, right? So the one at the top here, whatever here may be, let's say here is 30, it will be equivalent to, you've already done with the alternatives, right? So you've already done with that. So that will be what correspond to the one at the top here. Is that okay? Because I can see that F shape out of this diagram, right? So these are the two things that we are going to use in solving what this question, right? Let's see how to apply that method here. Now that we know what to use and how to use it based on these parallel lines, we are free to go. We just need to picture out, right? So here, what we are giving is what we are going to use. Here, we are giving this angle to be 45 degrees here at this point, right? So here is 45, and we know that this line here is parallel to this line. So that gives us the idea to use the alternatives and our corresponding angle. So here, straightforward, we can easily say that the angle here is what? Is 45, right? So there is a 45 degree, right? Because angle, so pay close attention. How do you write that definition here? So angle, where the angle is formed, so don't be confused. The middle letter is where the angle is for. So from the letter K here, we can use these the symbols of angle. So from letter Q to P, P is always at the middle. The middle letter is exactly where the angle is formed. So the angle here to where? Not here. Once you go here, you are deviating because this is the angle that we are talking about. So we are talking about this angle here, right? Right. So here you can move from here to this point here. So you can see that P here, angle P from P to where? To the R. So R here, right? Which is the 45. So 45 here, that is equal to angle. We can say that P, right? You can say angle P and then Q. Where do we go this way or we go the other way? We are talking about this angle. You have to go here. This is where the angle is from. So and then E, right? So E is equal to 45 because you have to state that property, because you have to state that definition. The definitions are because they are alternative, right? Alternative. Is that okay? That is very, very simple and straightforward, right? If that is what this guy alternate to the angle here, what again do you need? What again? Look at where we are going. We are going to this point here, right? We are going to look for the values of the x here. So what will be our next step? What do you think? So here we can see this symbol here. There's another symbol here, a very crucial symbol here. This symbol here is the symbols of a 90 degrees, right? So if I have an angle that goes like that with this symbol, without writing that, this is just a definition. Look at the picture and go. This is a whiteboard marker. Of course, this is a blue marker. So if I see this symbol and I see this symbol is 90 degrees, that is the definition that you must accept, right? So here is a 90 degrees. So that tells me that the angle here is straightforward at 90 degrees. Is that okay? Once again, if this is 90 degrees, then what will be the angle here? What will be the angle at this point here? So why are we going for all these things? So we know this one. Once I find this one, I can see that this is a triangle, right? Everything here is a triangle. Is that okay? So we know the definitions of the triangle. That is why we are struggling to find the values of the one here, right? Okay, so straightforward. Even in some cases, you don't even need to find the values of the 45 here, right? So it depends. So here you have 90 degrees. So here is going to be 90 degrees. By which property or by which definition? So the definition, are they alternate or they are corresponding? So maybe if someone can see the Z shape here, so these two people are alternating. So this is the symbol. So if I walk on this line like this, and then comes down this way and then go top here, you can see the Z shape out of that, right? So Z. So okay, so meaning that this angle here and this angle here alternate, right? So that's the definition. Since they alternate, here is going to be a 90 degrees. right? So perfect. Now we arrive at what? Our point. That tells me that the angle, what will be the angle? RQP, right? So R and then Q and then P, right? RP RQP here, that is equal to a 90 degrees, right? So okay, perfect. So if you have this is very very simple and then straightforward, right? So that is very simple and straightforward. So once you have this property, then you are free to go. You can say that the sum of interior angles of a triangle, right? So interior angle. So this is what I'm calling the triangle of triangle. Of course, you have to name that triangle of triangle P, Q, and then R, right? Is equal to what? 180 degrees. So you need this thing. We need this thing from the basic that the sum of the interior angles of a triangle. This is one triangle. This is another. So these are the people in the triangle. So this is the triangle that we are talking about, right? So this is a triangle. So just have that picture out of what the complicated diagram. Is that okay? Don't solve this thing complicatedly. So you have to break everything down and then move step by step. Now, so here you have one person here, that's a 45, and then here we don't know, which we don't know, we are going to look for in just a few seconds. We are here to be a 90. So according to this definition, we know that if you sum all these three guys that are in this triangle, I'm going to have a 180 degrees. So meaning that I have the 45 plus what? A 90 degree plus what? That guy, that notorious guy by X, right? So this guy plus this one. That should be equal to 118. Boom, we are done, right? So we are there. So you just need to sum these two people here and then find the values of the X. Maybe you may pause the video and come back and come and check the solution. Okay, congratulations for just trying. So here, if you sum these two people here, you are going to have 135 and then plus x here. You know everything is equal to 180. So we are going to subtract 135 from both sides of the equation. So you have our x here to be equal to 185, 80 minus 135, right? So we have the x to be equal to, we should have be 45 degrees, right? So the value of the x is just a straight 45. This is how simple you apply the method sort and applying it. You just need to know what to use and how to use. So let's have the next question. Here's the next question. A very nice and simple question. Is that okay? Okay, now perfect. So we have here to be equal to 73, right? So 73 degrees here. So you have here to be 73. Of course, we are going to look for this stubborn guy here. So here's the letter, right? So here's the letter X. Is that okay? So that's the letter that we are looking for. Right? So looking for this value, how your first step is to start with what you know and what we are giving. So what are we giving? We are giving these two people here. So yeah, so 54 and then here you have to be 73, right? So you have 73 and then 54. Now these are the two people. What do we know? With the symbols here, that tells you that some lines are parallel, right? So this line here, this guy here is parallel to this guy here. Remember, this is just one arrow. That doesn't mean that this line and this line are parallel. So focus on the similarity. So this is one arrow here, this is one arrow. So this one goes with a parallel line, and then these two lines are parallel, right? Of course, the same also applies to these people. This line here, and then this line here is also a parallel, right? So those are the two things. Once you have the parallel and any, remember what I said at the beginning of this video. So that is where we have the ideas of the alternatives and the corresponding. So how can we apply that based on the definition given to us? But first step here is that there's one property. If you haven't watched our shorts on this, make sure that you check the playlist under this video. If you are getting some value from this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, comment down below if you have any question or anything that you want to see under a plane geometry. Okay, now there's one simple property here. So that's the definition, right? So what do we need here? We need that property before we can apply that alternatives and the corresponding angle, right? So here's what the property, or here's the definition. It says that if there's an external guy, so maybe if one person is here, so let's say you are here, you are outside the triangle. So this is the triangle that we are talking about. Maybe assuming you are outside, maybe you want to be on your own, or maybe you want to be your own boss, right? So you are outside this or this room here, the triangle here. Now anybody that will be here, if there's one person here and then there's another person here, these two people, if you sum them together, it's going to be the values of your outside whatever you are having here. So what I mean by that is that if here is equal to, let's say, 15, and then here is equal to 45, right? So 15, 45. So this is what I have. If I have here to be equal to 15, here is equal to 45 degrees. So if I sum these two people here, I should have the value of the one outside. That will give us what? A 60, right? So 60, 60. Is that okay? That is the definition. It says that the external angle of what? A triangle. So this was the external. You are external, meaning you are outside the triangle, right? So the external here is equal to the sum of the two opposite what? Interior angles of what? The triangle. So not the one here, right? Don't pay a close, don't worry about the angle that is there. This is what we are talking about, the one that is far from this external angle. So if these two people are inside the triangle, if you sum them together, I should have the one outside. So that's the property that we are going to apply in solving this thing here. Now from this diagram here, you can see clearly that this angle here and this one here, if you sum them together, so the sum of the two opposite interior angles of a triangle, so this is the triangle that we are talking about. So if you sum these two people, I should have the value of the one outside. So which one will be the, I guess you can come to this board and show me where that value will be. Maybe pause the video, come back and come and check that. So perfect. According to this simple definition, you can see that it's everything here, right? It's everything part of the triangle. So according to this one, this diagram here, it will start from what? From this point, right? So it will start from here up to this point. Can you see that? We ignore this guy. We don't care whether you are passing through or you are not passing through. Ignore that guy, right? So we don't care. So what we know is that if you sum this one and this thing here, it should be equal to everything that is outside the triangle here. So here, if you want to write that in what a mathematical notation, that is one thing you have to understand here. So you can say that first of all, you have to state the definition. So that's what I said earlier on, that the sum of what the two opposite interior angles of what a triangle is equal to what the external, or maybe the other way around. The external angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the two opposite what interior angles. So here is the angle. So you have triangle A here, right? So A on this line. So A, C, and which one goes like this. So this one can either be E or F, right? So maybe E comes first. So let's pause it. So sum of this angle here, right? So this angle here, that is equal to the sum of these two people, right? So what would be the angle according to the letters? That should be A, B, and then C. So angle what? A, B, and then C, and then plus this angle here, right? Someone can choose B, A, and then C, or maybe another person can go for C, A, what? A, B. The most important thing is where the angle is from. That's the middle letter, right? So okay, here I'm going for B, A, and then C. So angle what? B, A, and then C. So which are these people? So this one there, of course, we don't know. So here you stay as it is. So and then see, that is got ABC. ABC was angle ABC. That was equal to 54 here, so 54 degrees, and then plus the other one, which is 73 degrees, right? Okay, so here what will be the values of this one? So here will be equal to 127, right? So 127. Is that okay? So that is the angle that we are having, 127. Right, perfect. So the angle is equal to 127. Where are we heading towards? We need to determine the values of this x here, right? So here, remember, maybe I would advise you before you start solving the problem, make sure that you list all the tools that you need in solving the problem here. Is that okay? Remember that we need alternatives and the corresponding one of them, or maybe the two, right? In some cases, but here, that is where those two guys comes in. So where do we need them? We need them at this point because we can see that this line here, this root here, and then this root here are what? Are parallel. Can you see that? So the line here, whatever the angle may be, must be the angle over here. By which property? Alternative or corresponding. Maybe I guess you should pause once again and come back and check that. Okay, maybe you either get it correct or wrong. The most important here, you just try, right? So you learn by what making mistakes. So if you had it correct, that is good. If you had it wrong too, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, now here's the shape. If I want to redraw this shape out of this complicated diagram here, it will look like what? So look at something like this. From here, so this point here, this one goes this way, and then here also goes this way, right? So this is the one person here, so X is here. So what do you think? We know that these two lines are parallel already, right? So if they are parallel, whatever is here must be correspond to the one here. Can you see? Can you see the shape here? So these two people are what are corresponding. Now we know the angle here. Since we know that angle, we can say that X is also equal to 127 by which property? By what? Corresponding what property, right? By corresponding what property, or by corresponding what angles. Okay, if you get some value from this video, make sure that once again subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up for more content like this.